What's up, guys? I'm JP Cross.
And I'm Ryan Newhouse.
And, oh, wait, am I talking over you? We've done fucked up.
We're already tripping.
We're already fucked up.
All right. Well, anyways, as you guys can tell, there's a special guest here with us today. JP, do you want to introduce her?
I don't want to introduce her. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Heatley.
And
Well, that was anticlimactic. I'm going to make
anticlimactic.
And
I didn't prepare for that part. So
yeah, we definitely put her on the spot. This is so from my understanding, just to let everyone know that's watching and listening, this is Tiff's first time being in any kind of video setting outside of, and I'm gonna tell the story.
Oh no,
tell the story now. What was the other time?
My sister and I did the TikTok challenge where you tie a hot dog around your waist by a string, and then you have to try to get it into your mouth, and whoever does that wins. And neither of us won, and she broke her hot dog, so I had to make fun of her.
And that is recorded in your introduction to our CineNerds. I just wanted you to have that moment. If you're going to fit in, great.
So, couple things before we get...
sort of caught it, though.
Next time.
It landed on my shoulder.
Next time. So, a couple things before we get started. CineNerdsPodcast.com. You know it. The link is right there. All of our episodes are on there. We also have a shop on there with T-shirts, koozies, blah, 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 which I think I think Angie's site's having a lot of issues. It got hacked. So I think that ordering stuff off of her site is maybe a little screwy right now. You could try. If not, I still have our Shopify or whatever, or our Printify page up on our merch store. So you can still order stuff through there if hers is not working. And we still do have signed posters. Also, click like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment. Whatever you're listening to, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the audio sites, leave us a comment if it allows you to leave a comment. Write a review if it allows you to write a review. Also, I want to add, since Tiff is with us today, 3cinenerds@gmail.com. Yes, that is still the email. Send us an email with what you think of the show. What do you think of Tiff? Like, let us know what you think about her after you watch this episode. Just send that email in so me and Ryan can be like,
please,
Tiff, look what they're saying
nice.
about you. Look what they're saying.
Nice, please. Please be nice.
You got anything to add? You got anything to add to that?
Me or her?
You.
Nope. I'm still in hot dog world.
Hot dog world.
I'll send you the video later. I'll send you the video.
I want the video. We need the video.
I will show you the video.
We can superimpose that video right here.
Oh no, I'm not sending it now. Nope. It's not happening. I will send it.
So we picked a doozy today. I think we picked this one. This isn't really because we both kind of agreed. JP and I both seen this. I think Tiff just recently went and saw it. But we jumped into Screen 7. So those of you who are watching and listening, just be warned. Spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen Screen 7 yet, now's the time. Run. Come back later.
So adding to that, so we were talking before we started filming. You know, you guys know, you watch the show. I usually have a whole book a lot of times whenever of notes of, just thoughts and stuff as I watch the film. So when we decided to do this, we decided to do Scream 7 like a couple weeks after it had came out. Well, it's been out for like a month or so now, but like a week or so after I had actually finally get to see it because I was on tour. And so I didn't write any notes. None. Because I had already seen it and didn't have time to actually go back and, I had time, but I went and chose to go watch something else that came out instead of going and watching this again to make notes. So I didn't actually write any notes. I'm doing all of this from memory.
And if you have any memory lapses at your old age, I will help you and fill in the gaps.
And so, Tiff, when we actually talked about doing this episode, and you were gonna come on, I think if I understood you right, you actually said you had never seen all of the Scream franchise.
Wow.
I haven't. I stopped after the first two because it just started to get a little repetitive for me. And then I started to watch Scream 6, and I didn't make it through it at all. And so then when I heard about Scream 7 and that some of the that the original cast was coming back, then I got interested in it. So I was not excited at first, but with the original cast being in it, made it a lot more interesting for me.
Okay, so that's interesting to me because we just did a Scream ranking episode. We did it's been what, about a month ago now, Ryan, hadn't it? Um
Yeah, in preparation of this movie.
yeah, and so the original Scream film, and people who's watched our show in the past know that the original Scream was like a very impactful movie for me, and like I even named my daughter Sidney because of Sidney Prescott. So like I love that original Scream film.
Oh,
and
definitely.
and I actually rated it as a perfect 5 on our show. It's one of the few that I rated as a perfect 5 because I think it's may not be a perfect movie, but in my eyes, it's a perfect movie because of what it regenerated and what it did for the slasher genre. But as you go through those films and you haven't seen them all, some are better than others. Some are just, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're kind of, yeah. Um, but there's a lot of build up in those movies that really coincide with what happens in Scream 7. So I will say, I feel like there's a little bit of an
Oh, crap.
injustice. I feel like there's a
Oh,
little bit of an
no.
injustice not seeing all of them.
Man.
Especially one of my favorites, and I think I put it like number 5 on my ranking, but I said it number could change at any given time, which is 3, because it is the most bonkers one. It's the most Scooby Doo of all the Scream franchise.
I
And,
think
like,
I did see 3. I think I did see 1, 2, and 3, and then after that, I bailed. And my memory from back then isn't so great. So, but when it started getting to the newer ones, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ryan. I
Oh, I
apologize.
wasn't. I didn't talk yet. You're good.
Okay, I get so worried. But I was very, very happy to do this one because, like I said, I mean, I will go back. Okay, because we're doing this, I will go back and I will watch all the leading ones up to this one and let you know next time when we do this again.
all right.
If you'll have me back.
So I was gonna say, 6. You definitely need to go back and finish because I know I'm in the minority here, but that was my number 2 on my overall ranking list because I enjoyed it so much and the amount of violence in it. So just saying.
Okay, maybe I just didn't give it a fair chance because you know with the originals, I just feel like the originals were so good that
Well,
sometimes you know,
the thing
you
is,
just can't redo it.
he put that at his number 2, but I believe I put that at the bottom of the list for me.
He
So
did.
so we were
but
polar opposites
we were.
on Scream 6.
Now here's the funny thing. So the one thing that we didn't mention yet, and we haven't even done the initial impressions. So let's do those before we even dig into this further. Go ahead, JP. I'll let you start this.
So as you guys know, my initial impressions, you guys know we've talked about Scream, we've done the Scream ranking. You guys know my opinion of this franchise, and I'm a fan of this franchise. Also, if you watched or listened to our most anticipated films of 2026, Scream 7 was way up there on my top 5 list. I can't remember where I had it, but I think it was like number 3 or something like that. It was way up there. And so that being said, initial impressions, I was excited going into this, and then I didn't get to see it right away because I was on tour. So I didn't get to see it until I got home from tour, and it had been out for a couple weeks at that point, and I had already seen the reviews. I hadn't seen spoilers. I avoided all spoilers. So I knew nothing more than what I knew about the trailers going in, but I kept seeing the reviews, and I kept seeing these bad reviews for Scream 7. And even like the day that I was going to the theater to watch it, a friend of mine had texted me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, because they want me to come over and help them do some stuff." And I was like, "Well, I can't. I can meet you in a few hours." I said, "But I've already got tickets. I'm on my way to go watch Scream 7." They're like, "Oh, I heard it's awful," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I have to see this for myself. I've seen them all in the theater. I named my daughter after Sidney. It's the return of Sidney Prescott. I have to see this movie in the theater. So I went and watched it. I came out of the theater without giving too much away. I think the reviews on this, these review bombs on this, are wrong.
They're wrong so often it's unbelievable.
I was
And
just gonna say that.
um yeah, no, I mean, initial impression for me right off the rip, I wanted to run from this film because everything had fallen apart. The cast, the story that they're going for in 5 and 6, everything had fallen out. So when I went into this movie, let me tell you, it was the lowest of low expectations, which is probably why I enjoyed it. Because I feel like that's the formula. You go with low expectations, usually you enjoy a movie a little more. You go with high expectations, you're a little disappointed because you had these weird versions of what you think it should have been. So this one I went into it, and the politics really got a hold of this one, and I'll dig into that more. I've got a whole bit about the politic aspect, but like the amount of review bombing because of the politics and because of Jenna Ortega's split and Melissa Baccara, those things really weren't fair and didn't do it justice. And I'll just say this before I go further: this movie impressed the hell out of me, but also don't listen to the fucking haters. That's all.
For real. I never ever listen to the ratings because I just don't go by it. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's going to think differently. I never ever will, if I'm going to watch a movie specifically and I see a rating on it, if it's a bad rating, I still watch it anyway because they don't know what I like. you know, I'm not going to go by their ratings. I'm going to go by my own ratings. So I'll still watch it even if it has a horrible review.
So what was your initial impression?
What was that?
Tiff,
What was your initial impression
of Scream 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it starts off like all the Scream movies do. So I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope that there is kind of an 8 after the way this one left off. I don't know if they're going to do an 8. I don't know if there's plans to do an 8. I don't know when is too much of a movie.
It crossed $1 billion as a franchise because of this one, and this one had one of the highest opening weekends. So I think there'll be an 8.
After the ending of this one, which I won't give away yet, but I definitely would go and see it. So I didn't hate this as much as I thought I was going to.
Fair.
So, quick synopsis of this film. This picks up after Scream 6, after the incident in New York, and it takes place, and I can't remember the town, but it's a different small town. It is not Woodsbury or Woodsboro. And it follows married Sidney Prescott with a teenage kid, daughter, and the
Sidney
Ghostface,
Evans.
yeah, and Ghostface killer returns, and basically this killer is in your face, and he is telling Sidney, "I'm not scared. I'm coming for you. This is happening," and comes to her town, and in Scream fashion, the movie plays out. And I'll leave it at that. That if you've seen the Scream franchise, I don't need to go from a point to point to point to point to give you the plot summary. That is essentially it. But it takes place in a new town where Sidney has restarted her life and living her life.
I do have to say, I was very excited to see that her husband was played by Joel McHale. I had to do a double take because I was like, I know him. And then I was like, holy crap, it's Joel McHale. And so I mean, I was excited for that.
Well, you know what's funny about that is so there were talks initially that the Mark Evans who was supposed to be in this, maybe not Mark Evans, but the Mark that was supposed to be in this was the Mark from whatever
Scream 3,
3.
which was
Yes,
played
you're
by
Oh,
Dr. Sexy himself, Patrick Dempsey, but his name was not Mark Evans. It was Mark. I can't remember his last name now, but he was approached. Patrick Dempsey
Dr.
was, yeah, or whatever, Mr. Sexy, Doctor Sexy,
He's mixed dreamy or McDreamy. I don't remember.
McDreamy. Yeah, that's what it is.
McDreamy,
Yeah.
McDreamy.
Well, he's a sexy man, so I just
Yeah, he said he was approached, but I guess not only was his schedule not available, but also the fires burned up his home,
Oh,
right? So he
Yeah.
said it wouldn't have worked out.
yeah. So
And
he passed on it, and so they didn't recast. They created a whole new Mark character.
want my theory on that? I think they're just gearing up for Thanksgiving too. That's all, because it was too similar of a movie.
and that's another movie I have not seen as well.
Yeah, and Patrick Dempsey stars in Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then maybe I'll watch it.
And it's very like imagine Scream, but focused around Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving Scream.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's imagine a Thanksgiving themed film that feels like Scream, but done by Eli Roth.
Oh, okay. Sold. I
Yeah,
love Eli Roth. So
Thanksgiving was one of those ones that my battery just died. Oh, I'm gonna switch cameras, switching cameras.
So
Look at
Ryan had some issues with not having the camera charged, and lesson learned going forward.
and he's back.
So he's having to switch to his other camera, which is fine
Yeah.
for right now. We'll let the other one charge, and maybe in the next couple episodes we'll have it back up and running for us. So I want to say off the bat, so Scream has always been known for having these openings with killing like a famous face or this or that. I love what they did with this one because I think the formula of it worked so good in the first one, and then after that it became a joke with like mocking the fact of killing the celebrity in the Stab movie intros and this and that, or whatnot, which they changed it a little bit with Scream 5 with the Jenna Ortega character, but they didn't actually kill her off. They just mortally wounded her to where she's in the hospital. Toward this one opens up in Woodsboro and at the Stew house, which it's like an Airbnb, and this couple go in to rent it, and these opening kills were fabulous.
They were fabulous, and the animatronic thing, the way that all played out was excellent, and also the over the banister spectacular.
I have to say this. I don't know who hung that light fixture, but they deserve an award because they were both hanging off of it at the same time, and it was more stable than my credit score. So they were not coming off of that, and she fell down. It didn't even break. She fell.
Yeah, no, she fell and
That
Fell
light
off-
fixture
He just
was
rolled
on.
He just rolled over, and he's like, "Gotcha, fucker."
Here you go.
so now to build up to this kill, and there's a lot of kills in this film. I think I looked. I think there's 16 kills.
No, what are you
15?
talking about?
No.
Yeah,
It's
there's
only
15.
10. No, it's only 10. It's
Oh.
not-
Well, but there's a few off screen.
oh, you're one of those.
So
Actually, just before you go, sorry, I actually got a kill count list of every movie in order out of the Scream franchise because I was so into this.
But yeah, the build up to this, they go through this house. The girlfriend is not thrilled about being there, but they get into the kitchen, and she starts specifically talking about Scream 5, where the main antagonist gets burned, and she's talking about how awful of a way to die that would that would be. And so during this whole opening scene, like what you're just saying, she was getting away from Ghostface. She's hanging from this chandelier. She knocks Ghostface down to the bottom floor. She ends up falling. Ghostface turns over with the knife, and she falls onto the knife, rolls off. She's still alive. Ghostface then gets a gas can and starts pouring gas all around and pours gas all over and lights the whole thing ablaze and burns her alive, which was literally 3 minutes before she was talking about how horrible a way that would be to die, which that was,
It would be a horrible way.
I loved that they did that.
Bro, if the knife were in my fucking gut, I would absolutely roll over and finish myself before burning.
For real. For real.
I would not
Seriously,
burn.
I'm not doing that. No. I'm done.
No, so to your point, JP, like to me, this is probably one of the better opening sequences. It was such a good opening sequence. They used it as the whole trailer. So like I watched that and I'm thinking like, okay, it's middle of the movie. These are two prominent characters coming in out of nowhere. You know, I didn't know what was going on. And then we get into that opening sequence and I'm like, all right, this is the way to start. Like I was already off to a good start.
Yeah, and he stabs the boyfriend in the head with a knife. I mean, and he gets
That was brutal.
It was brutal. The kills in this movie are they get brutal. They are some of the more brutal ones for sure.
I'm not gonna get into it yet. We'll talk about it when we get there. But that theater one's the best one, hands down.
Go ahead, Tiff.
I was just gonna say, but that's further on down in the line when he with the auditorium theater. So I'm gonna wait for my turn on that part.
Okay. Anything else about this opening scene? You got anything, Tiff?
No, but my notes was that him being stabbed through the head and you could see the knife going through his eyes. That was brutal, and it was a hard pass on a way for me to die as well. I don't want to do that as well. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do any part of that. But yeah, that was a definitely brutal way to die. I really was expecting that light fixture to fall, though. I was not expecting it just to hang there. And for when he fell, you know he's not dead. He's there. He's never dead when you think he's dead. So for him to flip over,
that's why they always say shoot him in the head.
That's in my notes. Double tap him in the head.
I did read that the Airbnb is actually a real place. You can rent this Airbnb out.
Yep. More intense and more cool than Airbnb for me is Matt Rife and some other dude own the rights to the collection from the
Annabelle.
Annabelle, but they own the whole collection from that from those. What are the families' names from the Conjuring movies?
Yeah, you were the Conjuring fan. I can't ever remember them.
Yeah, I'm having
it's like the Wilsons or something.
No.
I'm gonna call them the Wilsons. They feel like Wilsons.
I hate you right now. It's driving me nuts.
I almost spit my water out. The Wilsons. They're the Wilsons, Ryan.
Yeah, they're the Wilsons. Like they live next door to Dennis the Menace.
What's funny is the guy who plays Warren, because it's the Warrens, not the Wilsons, his real name is Patrick Wilson in real life. So somebody just traded out, and you went deeper than me, even though I liked Conjuring. You know their fucking names, so whatever.
Why? Because he was in that awful Aquaman movie.
I mean, there was no.
Oh, you're right. He was.
I could deal with the first Aquaman. The Lost Kingdom was trash.
I did like the first one and not the second one.
The Lost Kingdom is worse than the Dark Tower. It is trash. Sorry.
Wait, Dark Tower the series or Dark Tower the movie?
There's not a Dark Tower the series.
There was a series, isn't there?
No, but there's the book series, but the Dark Tower movie was garbage. Yeah, the books are amazing.
Yeah, Stephen King.
I liked the movie.
Stephen King's The Dark Tower book series is amazing, and if you've ever read the books, the movie is trash.
I mean, it is trash compared to the book. I do have every single Stephen King book, by the way.
So like me, from what you're saying, because I kind of agree with what you're saying in this point. I am a person who I'm never going to be able to, like, any video game movie, any movie based off a book, they're never going to get it right. It's never going to be perfect to our version of what it should have been. So people are,
No.
but Dark Tower was trash.
I did okay, I low key liked it. I know I've been waiting for a movie to come out on my favorite game, and I just heard that they are going to make it, and I am super excited if it's actually true
So
because
so what's that?
BioShock.
It is true.
That
There were, yeah. I believe it's going to be a series, not a movie, from my understanding.
I cannot wait. I've been waiting for this for 15 years. So I can't wait.
So I want to point out before we get much further into this, JP, do you know who wrote this?
Oh, I do. It is the original writer of the Scream film.
Mr. Kevin
And
Williamson.
he wrote Scream. He wrote Scream 2.
And he wrote,
I think he co-wrote Scream 2. Maybe he wrote Scream 2 completely. I can't remember, but he is the original writer for Scream. That he based it off of true events that had loosely true events that had happened when he was in college, and Wes Craven got a hold of it and did the Scream film that we now know and love, and he returned, but he returned only after obviously the directors for Scream 5 and 6 left due to conflict of doing Ready or Not 2. Now, we know
which
that
is crazy.
we know the real reason is because of the Jenna Ortega and what's her name,
Melissa Baccara.
her. We know that it's about that. That's why they left. They was not happy with the firing of her, and they wasn't happy with any of that had happened, and so they moved on to do Ready or Not 2, which everybody knows I was excited about. But that aside, Christopher Landon originally was tied to direct this film, but he got so much backlash and death threats over the firing of her that he left. And I would have loved to have seen Christopher Landon directed this film because I love Christopher Landon's films. So after he left, Nev Campbell actually talked the original writer to come direct this film.
That's awesome.
She convinced him. He went to her. They talked. She convinced him to join the cast back, and then conveniently she got paid $7 million, which is her highest ever payday. But let's rewind here. So Kevin Williamson, didn't he also write something else?
I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure he has.
Did I hear wrong? I thought he was. So it was a weird crossover. As I think he wrote the first Ready or Not. Am I wrong?
Let's look this up.
JP's in motion. He's in action.
Because if he did, then that's just more of a reason I love this guy. Okay, so he was a writer for The Following, which I'm a huge fan of The Following.
That was a good show, Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kevin Bacon.
And I do not see Ready or Not.
I don't know where I heard that. Maybe it's just crossover with the other director going over to Ready or Not 2.
Now I think maybe Christopher Landon, before he left, I believe he probably wrote for Ready or Not.
And
because Christopher Landon, which is, if you don't know who he is actually Michael Landon's son. If you know Michael Landon from Little House on the Prairie
know that.
and Highway to Heaven, it's his son. He's directed one of my favorite little franchises called Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2.
Happy Death Day, yes.
I do like those. But Christopher Landon also was an intern with Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson on the first Scream movie. So that's why Kevin Williamson went so hard for him to be the director. And when he got chased off because of the politics, that's when Nev talked him into directing. So
I didn't know actually like more of the factual facts on the movie. I feel like I'm so underprepared in that area. So
No. So
No.
this is
So
JP and I nerd out
this is
sometimes.
this is the thing. I'm an oddity with a lot of this stuff, and I know directors, and I have a lot of love for certain directors, and
oh, me too.
like even Ryan, like we did a top five directors episode at one point, and or low budget directors episode at one point, and Ryan was like, "This put me to the test because he doesn't know, he doesn't really follow directors or writers or things like that. Where I follow a lot of these guys, you know."
I've always been a person who is I just like to it's like music. You feel it, you see it, you experience it, you feel it, and it's something magical to you. So that's why I love
Yes.
that's why I love music and movies. But in these
Right.
instances, I have learned a lot over the last couple of years as far as digging in and understanding the director aspects, the people who are the cinematographers, all the people in the background that make things so magical. So it's interesting because there's a lot I still don't know, and like people like JP, of course, and then our friend Rick Paulton. All these people are a little more invested than I am, and I like hearing their stances and their points of view on these things.
Wanted you to know that I've also directed a film.
What?
A short film. I did it in my college. It was called Bonfire of Death.
I directed and wrote a short film in college too called "The Ornaments Behind Those Eyes," and it is on YouTube.
Mine hopefully will never be seen by anybody.
Listen, hold on. If you have seen some of the shit JP has brought my way, you probably are sitting on gold. Because between Queer Wolf, between what was the other one that was there was fuck, what was the other one that was so bad? Not Queer Wolf, not Party Animal. We watched another one that was a really low budget one that I couldn't even believe.
I heard about your love for Queer Wolf,
Thanksgiving.
by the way.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
His shirt that he's wearing. I should have had that. Yeah. That movie, what was that? A $1,500 budget?
It was a $1,500 budget.
And they made it work. The biggest part of that budget was what they paid the porn star in the beginning, who said the porn star said it was the worst decision of her career.
My budget was a bottle of wild turkey for all the people that participated. And my son was the killer, by the way, in that movie when he was 10.
So we are 30 minutes into this episode, and we've barely scratched the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. So there is a video that is going around. A video call keeps going to Sidney Prescott, Nev Campbell's character, of Stu, the return of Stu from the original Scream. And he keeps calling Sidney throughout this film saying, "I'm coming to get you. I'm here. I'm going to go get your daughter. I'm here. I'm going to go get this person," through this whole film. So the question has arisen in the film, is Stu alive? And so Ghostface actually attacks Nev, or I keep calling her Nev, Sidney and her family. And during this attack, we get to see Ghostface get killed on screen pretty early on in the film. And he is hit by a car by Courtney Cox's character. And they unmask him, all Scooby-Doo like. They unmask him. We gotta know who he is. And they're like, "Who the fuck is this person?" Nobody's ever seen this guy before. Some random guy. And they find out this guy has escaped from a mental institute. So the investigative reporter that Courtney Cox's character is, and Sidney, Gail Weathers, they go to the mental institute he escaped from, and they start talking to one of the main orderly nurses there, and they ask, like, "Hey, has this person ever been here?" And show a picture of Stu. Said, "Oh, yeah, he came here, X amount of years ago with no memory and this and that, and yeah, he was released a couple weeks ago."
Who was the orderly?
This orderly, that's where I'm going, because we've talked about him in previous episodes. This orderly is played by Ethan Embry.
Are you going to give the trivia here too?
Who you would know from Vegas Vacation. You would know him from Empire Records, and one of my favorite movies of last year, Alma and the Wolf. So as soon as Ethan Embry showed up in this, I was like,
But
Okay.
do you know the backstory to him and the Scream franchise?
He originally um tried out to
He,
play the character of Stu, and Wes
and
Craven did not like him.
Stu and Randy.
Did he do for Randy too? I knew he did for
Yeah,
Stu.
and Wes Craven passed on him.
Hmm.
I mean, Matthew Lillard. So
I think I would have loved. I think I would love Ethan Embry as Randy, though. I think he would have been a good Randy.
Yeah, I could have seen that. But I Matthew Lillard, like, I probably wouldn't have chosen him in the beginning of the process, like, but seeing the end result, oh my god, I would never. There's no other Stu. He's just it. And so back to your point, when we start seeing the video calls between him and Sidney, my biggest thing with that was the attention to detail on his face. They made it look like that TV dropped on his face and he survived it. And what is even better is the story they tie to it with the orderly played by Ethan Embry. When Nev and Gail go to, I said Nev again, sorry, Sidney and Gail go to interview him and talk to him, he gives this entire backlog story that literally checks out. Like, this guy came in, he didn't know who he was, everything, he didn't never knew who he was. And I guess when they looked into it, because there was no way they could hold him accountable because of his mental state, they didn't tie anything to it, they let it go essentially. And I was like, this is all like chalking up, this is actually like decent story. I kind of like where this is going. Now, that said, as the story progresses, things change, things are a little different, and I'll let everyone else chime in from there.
I completely forgot where we were going with that. Yes, the orderly. I figured he was on my suspect list because of the fact he played in so hard to that fact that Stu was there. It just seemed way too he was there. He knew too much about it. It just seemed a little bit obvious for me. I had him on my suspect list along with the creepy neighbor, the boyfriend, obviously, because. So uh, I did think they went way too much, and he just knew too much, which made him very suspicious to me. So that put him on my list.
I mean, Ben Stiller knew everything about Adam Sandler's grandma, so you never know.
That
Orderlies know a lot.
that's true. That's true. I mean, if he worked there, he would know, right?
So my whole thing is like this. There's definitely formulas to Hollywood, right? And so like I
Right.
feel like anytime you watch, like, I just got done watching the Rookie series, and I, not my normal cup of tea, but like there's a formula to the episodes. It's a problem arises, there's an issue, but usually when that problem arises, within the first 15 minutes, you've already seen the character, you just didn't know it.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
in this instance, when Ethan Embry came on the screen as a sub and or minor character, I was instantly red flagged. I was like,
Hmm.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
So
So this film also, we haven't even talked about the kids. There is a group of kids, also Mindy and Chad from Scream 5 and Scream 6. They return, which we love Mindy and Chad. They were two of the best characters that came out of Scream 5 and Scream 6. And Ryan's shaking his head.
well, okay, so hear me out. So when their characters arise in the last two movies, and even though I loved 6, even when they showed up in 6, I still was like, wait, who the fuck are they again? Because they're like, they're awesome characters towards the end every time, but they just don't leave a memorable impression. And even the characters, the sub characters surrounding Tatum and her friend circle throughout this movie, I was definitely left with, there's just nothing about them gripped me to them. I didn't care about them dying. I actually heard another content creator, another reviewer, and I don't normally call out people and say names of other people, but I'm going to, because she's got an awesome name. Her name's Amanda the Jedi. She does her own podcast thing on YouTube, a little fiery redhead. And her title of her review video on this was Scream 7 characters have become stab characters. And I was like, that's on the money. these kids all reminded me of the Stab characters when we see this. Like even when they were showing the movie being filmed for the next Stab movie in that one episode in the one movie, you had all these characters that were just so like unapproachable. You didn't care about them. You didn't care if they got killed. That's how I feel at this point with these people. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get that because there wasn't a lot. I mean, it was a great scene in the drama theater where
Oh my god, so good.
the girls hung up like a fairy, and Ghostface is running back and forth. She's stuck, and he's just slashing at her and and stabbing at, and leaves her draped, hanging. Yeah, some of these kills are great, and then you jump to. And not to try to cut everybody off, but I'm just going to try to keep moving through this and we can come back for a second. When you get the actual curfew and all the group of kids are all hanging out at a bar, hiding, but hanging out, trying to figure out who the killer is because they're suspecting each other. And Ghostface shows up, and there's a big chase scene with Tatum getting out of there, and while Ghostface is in there killing all these new teenage characters, and there is one death scene in this one that was just top notch. And any of y'all want to guess which death scene that was?
My favorite you already talked about.
Well, yeah, the fairy, but I'm talking about the kill in the bar.
Well, okay, I have two things to say, and that is, in the auditorium, I wanted to say that was almost like a reference to the Scream 2 movie where they killed people in the auditorium. So I
Jerry
did
O'Connell.
like the fact. Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like, oh, this seems familiar. This goes back to the beginning. And the killing in the tavern of the creepy kid and the creepy neighbor kid and being stabbed through
or Lucas. It was Lucas.
Back. I can't remember his name. For
yeah,
some
it was
reason.
Lucas. Yeah.
But being stabbed through what I think is a beer tap handle, spiky, through the skull. It was a pretty great kill.
And it kept pouring afterwards.
Yeah, they even turned the beer on, so it's like
I hope this isn't a poor taste, but
and I also want to say that I was not unhappy that Gail's TV crew was unalive during this whole thing at the tavern because they were super annoying. And I know that was a play by the purposely done by the directors to make them seem like typical millennial type,
well, the thing with those
kind of thing.
The thing with those two you're talking about, that is actually Mindy and Chad, who I was talking about a minute ago. They are the returning characters from Scream 5 and Scream 6.
And see, I didn't know that because I didn't see the previous ones.
So that's why they're with Gail, because they've been with Gail. They're actually Randy from Scream 1 and Scream 2. They're Randy's nephew and niece. And
yeah, so they try to tie it all together with them like that, but still, it was like every movie they're trying to identify new rules. If you notice, and every time they start doing new rules, I get mad because I'm like, okay, A, you're not Randy. I know he's your uncle, but let's not do that. And B, they're just kind of annoying because like she especially she gets fucked up, and I mean they both do.
They both do. They're both a combination of Randy and Dewey.
But the amount of times that they've had their internal organs rearranged and stabbed, I don't understand how they're walking. And she was like at the end of 6, she was full sprint to the ambulance, even though she had been stabbed and circled in her stomach. And same with this one. Like, so those two are a little meh.
Do you want to talk about the fairy scene anymore, Ryan?
Yes.
Let's go.
Sorry, I kept getting distracted. So I just want to give this particular Ghostface killer has a thing with people in heighted situations into his knife, because you get the opening sequence where the girl falls off the chandelier right onto his knife, and he's just, it's almost like you could see him smiling underneath the mask.
Exactly.
And then in this instance, this girl's swinging back and forth, tangled up in the rope, and he just like holds the knife up and slice right through her stomach. And it's like, I just thought this, and even let's even dig in this a little deeper. The imagery that came out of this from behind, where the light is shining down in the theater to her while she's hanging and her intestines are hanging. I know that's a lot and it's graphic to explain, but let me tell you how powerful that moment was. That was a great cinematography aspect. I loved it.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving along. I'm gonna keep
Did you-
moving. Go ahead.
Oh, I did notice that in the auditorium killing, that Ghostface outfit was sparkly, and I had never noticed it before, and I didn't know if it's always been
seen
sparkly.
Some I have noticed in some of the franchises that there is like almost a glitter, like a glimmer
I
to
was like,
some
he's
of some of it.
sparkly
Yeah.
in this one. Sorry.
Keep moving forward. So after this, you get a big chase scene, a great chase scene with Tatum actually going to her mother's coffee shop, to Sidney's coffee shop, locks herself in the office, and she's on the phone with her mom. Her mom is running down the highway, the road, the streets to try to get to her, and she's telling her over the phone, like, so this whole movie, Tatum is always has been kind of portrayed as a weak person, as a weak female. And Sidney gets on the phone with her and tells her, look, there's a gun in here. Get that gun. You have to be strong. I'm not going to make it there in time. And she's looking on the camera. She's like, he is right through this wall, 2 feet next to the door. Put a bullet through that wall now. And she does, but she doesn't double tap the head. She does not double tap the head. And so by the time Sidney gets there, Tatum is gone. She gets another call, and she goes home.
Hello, Sidney.
Because he says, she asks, "Where are you?" And he says, "Where the heart is." And she said, "Yeah."
And I also believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the scene when it finally shows that it's not really Stu, and it flips AI to all the different killers?
Yes.
Yes.
So you see Stu, you see Billy's mom, you see Sidney's brother, you see multiple previous killers. The character actually morphs into on the FaceTime on the phone, which I love that.
I did too. I thought that's fantastic.
So what JP is alluding to is that, we've been led astray. So all the marketing, all the everything that led us to thinking Stu was back was a lie. It was AI. Now, that said, I still see a lot of room for potential here in a part 8 or part 9 even with Stu, because let's be real, he's still in the background of 4 different Scream movies. He's been brought to the forefront of this, and I don't know if that orderly is lying about that situation that happened where he came in there. That could still be very real.
Right.
So I'm left with a lot of more question marks than I started out with. So I have a lot of high hopes.
I also have a question, because if we're going backwards a little bit, and I know we're trying to get to the end of this, but when Tatum leaves the tavern with her boyfriend, which I can't remember his name offhand, and she goes in there in his car, she does find all that deep fake software in his car. And I still don't understand, because he said, "Oh, I was just seeing if it could be done." But I don't necessarily believe that.
I only believe it because he got killed.
I mean, he did get killed. He did get killed, but he could have been the one that helped set all that up in the first place.
Could have.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, could have. But
Because
I think at this point he's been unalived, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he was a loose end, maybe.
Yeah.
And Tiff, we need you to speak up more, because when JP says these shallow things, like he goes from when they killed this person and then he changed it to this female, you got to be like, no, go back to the person, asshole. You got to call him out for that shit, because women power.
She has a name.
I don't know her name. She's just another female.
She has a
Oh, boy.
name.
Oh,
Say your
boy.
name. His name is Robert Paulson. Sorry.
Well, when I hear say her name, I think of Never Ending Stories. Say your. Anyways,
Right.
so yeah, so as we start progressing into the ending, we come to find out who the killers are. At this point, am I good to forward that
Oh
far into
yes,
this?
yes, yes. Let's
Yeah,
get there. Let's get there because I already knew
I,
I knew who one of them was, and the second one was a little surprise for me.
I
I,
knew it.
I wasn't surprised, but god damn, was I disappointed. Like they're the worst two people to be the killers possible. Like it was so like unexpected, not in a bad way, not in a good way. And they're just like the least likely of them, and the fact that these two idiots pulled it off really disappointed me. I was completely invested in this movie until those two were let as the or known as the killers.
Okay,
I knew it.
so the first Ghostface killer that unmasked himself is Ethan Embry's character, who we got the brief introduction to as the orderly. And as soon as I saw Ethan Embry, I'm like, you don't cast Ethan Embry in such a small role for him not to be the killer.
Yeah.
So that was me. I was like,
Exactly.
Ethan Embry is one of the killers. So off the bat, I knew Ethan Embry was going to be one of the killers. So when he unmasked himself, I was not surprised. So the second one is the character Jessica, which is the mother of Lucas. Who Lucas is the character that was put onto the beer tap.
Spiky beer tap.
Yeah, that was killed with the beer tap. So her own son was killed. She killed her own son, and basically because she was read Nev's book and she was an abused housewife. Her ex-husband abused her. She ended up killing her husband. She goes into this whole spiel about how she read Nev's book that she decided to take control of her life and take her life back, but she took it back a little too far, obviously. And
To unalive your own child.
yeah. And so yeah, there's your two killers. Well, you actually had three with the other mental patient that died earlier in the film. So, but your two main killers are right here, and it's kind of somewhat trying to play out a little bit like the original opening of Scream with them in the backyard tied to the chair, and then it kind of escalates from there. The husband Mark has been attacked too. He comes out and he actually passes. They think he's dying, and he passes a knife to his daughter, and his daughter's cutting herself free as they're conversating and unmasking, and so that's how she gets loose. And at that point, Nev actually shoots Ethan Embry in the head. Correct?
Yes.
Is that what happens?
I believe so.
Well, you don't got to look it up. I mean,
I'm like, I'm trying to look.
I mean,
I believe
yep,
she does.
I had
yes.
it right here. Yeah, shot in the head.
Yeah.
Shot in the head by Cindy Evans, not Prescott anymore. We keep calling her Prescott, but Sidney Evans with the pistol. And then Jessica runs into the garage that is being rebuilt, and there's plastic everywhere. And Sidney goes in after her and tells Tatum to stay with her dad. And so this whole scene, I thought was a pretty cool scene. It was a tense little fight scene, but that goes on in here, a cat and mouse fight scene. And the ending of this, I know you said it was a little disappointed on the reveal, but how did you feel about this death of Jessica?
I mean, I was good with it, of course, but I mean, most of the kills, I'm always going to be good with. It's one of my favorite parts of horror movies. That's why I
Right.
watch them.
Exactly.
But that reveal definitely took the wind out of my sails. But I definitely enjoyed the kill.
I was so happy that I was right. I knew she was fake from the beginning, and how she kept playing like, "Oh, my son is too into it. He needs to back off of you." She just seems so fake. And when she came out that it was her, and she revealed herself, I was like,
she's another one like Ethan Embry.
Right.
You know her face when you saw her,
Well, because
and
she
she's the
was
neighbor.
yeah, well came from, I think, was it the Vampire Diaries or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah.
Oh, my daughter loves
Which Vampire Diaries your boy Kevin Williamson did write on.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, this was all around a solid movie. I had my complaints about the reveal. I think that was a little too. I think it was too predictable. I think it was too boring, if I'm being honest. But the way that the story progressed up till that, I have no complaints about, except for the kid characters being more like stab characters.
yeah.
But the story as a whole, I mean, they stuck to the formula. They stuck to what Kevin did best in the first couple. I did want to point out, JP, when you're talking about what he wrote, you didn't mention the worst one, in my opinion, Scream 4. He also wrote that one. And that one's my least favorite out of all the Screams.
Go back to my ranking because it was like my number 2.
I know, and you had a good reason, because the only thing that's good about 4 is Dewey. But outside of 4, it ain't there, dude.
Dewey
actually-
and cheerleader girl from Heroes.
I mean, she's cool, but at the same time, I felt like we were kind of forced into those kiddos too. Like but they were better than these kids. But without a doubt, it was just weird. It was uncomfortable. But but Dewey, when that whole thing happened, it was an honor in his ear, magic.
That was amazing. So that final death scene, which with Jessica, what actually happens before we close this film and move on to our ratings? Tatum and Sidney shoot her in the head. Not only do they shoot her in the head, do you guys know how many times they shot her in the head?
They boondock saints her ass.
They more than Boondock Saints her. They shot the Jessica Ghostface killer 27 times in the head between both of their guns.
You counted that, but not the kill count correctly?
I counted the kill count correctly too. I just counted the off-screen ones.
Off-screen bullshit. Okay.
I mean, she deserved all 22 shots. Let's be honest.
Sure. And we got and hey, you got to lead by example, and you're teaching your daughter to shoot him in the head this time. And listen to you
Yes.
when you fucking say shoot him in the head.
More than double tap, triple tap, quadruple tap.
This is why you should listen to your parents. You do what they tell you because they've been there and done it. And Sidney Prescott's already dealt with this shit. She knows
So
to
many
shoot him in the
times.
fucking head. Shoot him in the head.
Always double tap. Always.
Did you look at box office and budget? Because I did not.
I did.
Sweet.
So what do you think the budget was?
You want to take a guess, Tiff?
Mm.
Don't you get on that computer or your phone and look. This is what
Yeah.
you're doing now.
No, these are all gut. This is all gut when we ask these.
I'll tell you what. I'll go first. I'll go with budget, and I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 30 million. Tiff, go ahead and play off of mine.
Ryan, higher or lower?
No, I just need a guess. I'll let you know from there.
46 million.
Oh, she saw my because she is 45 million.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I almost went 50, but I was like, yeah, a lot of these are a little.
I didn't even see you do that, Ryan. So I was
So,
looking at my camera.
You're right. You didn't see me. You heard me go.
Yeah, but that could have been lower. So
Fair,
could have been anything.
So box office. I'm gonna go. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh.
You want to do gross U.S. and Canada or gross worldwide?
I'm
Oh
just
my
gonna do.
gosh.
I'm just gonna do worldwide.
All right, let's go worldwide. Let's see what you got.
You said it's the high. I can't remember what the highest grossing one was, and you said this one was already trajecting higher than all the rest. So I have no clue, and I should know, and I can't remember off the top of my head what the highest grossing was right now. So I'm gonna guess 75 million.
Way the fuck off.
I figured.
$1 billion.
Further off.
$1 billion. So this one, if you remember, I said it early on. This one is what took the Scream franchise over $1 billion. So the worldwide gross was $193,834,700.
And
Uh,
62 cents.
yes,
And that's a lot of fucking money for a rated R film.
That is.
it is. Opening weekend alone, it grossed 64 million. So I mean, money for sure.
You remember a time when rated R films it was lucky if they did 20 million?
Well, I also think the budgets in the financial market and things have changed, so it's just a different approach. But I also see that it's easier now for studios to see the benefits to what horror can do. When they introduce the right horror, you see the right results with people running to the theater. And also, this was another great example of we talk about reasons to try and get people to the theater more often. The popcorn buckets on this one got really interesting. They were just great. There was one with him coming out of a door. There was one where he was trapped inside of the case, or it was just the case from Scream 6. I don't know what they're going for, but they had cups this time. They had the whole bit. So anytime you can get these little silly novelty items in the theaters to get more people in the theaters is a good thing, in my opinion.
My favorite will always be the Dune popcorn bucket.
Not the Deadpool Wolverine?
No, Deadpool Wolverine is definitely number one, but my number two is the Dune one. I just think that thing is hilarious.
Yeah, the Dune one's pretty fucking good.
Whoever did that knew what the hell they were doing.
Ratings. I'll go first if you want me to.
Sure.
I can go ahead and get it knocked out. So, this movie, and I didn't talk some of my thoughts on this film, so I'm going to get them out now. One thing that I really loved about this film that I didn't talk about in this episode so far was a lot of this film. This film really felt original Scream meets John Carpenter's Halloween. There was a lot of scenes in this that felt very John Carpenter to me. Now, you guys know how big of a John Carpenter fan I am. I think he's the greatest because he is the greatest.
He's the greatest.
So there's a lot of scenes. There's even like a walking scene with the teenagers that felt very straight out of Halloween. There's a lot of Ghostface scenes where he's in the background. You just see a silhouette of the Ghostface mask in the background that felt very Michael Myers. There's all these aspects of like John Carpenter that were little sprinkled out through this entire film, and I loved everyone I saw. So this film, like I said, has a very John Carpenter Halloween feel meets Scream with a modern feel. I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved this film. I loved the kills. For the most part, I liked the characters. I mean, some of the kid characters were, I didn't give a shit about them, but the throwbacks to the previous Scream films, all the nods to the previous Scream films, the nods to Halloween, the nods to other horror films, and everything that kind of happened throughout this entire film to fill all those little gaps, I loved. If I was to re-update my Scream ranking, this would move into the number 2 spot. That's how much I actually
What?
It's actually how much I disagree with the critics on this. I fucking love this film. I'm going to give this one a solid 4.3 nerds.
And you shit on 6? What?
This is way better than 6. Way better than 6.
I have to go backwards now.
I'm
to
going to tell you right now. You know where they fucked up with 6? You know where they fucked up with 6?
I'm waiting.
The very opening scene when they kill Samara Weaving.
Well, dude, you can't do that. That's great. That's like Drew Barrymore.
It's my opinion.
The first one.
It's my opinion.
I mean,
I do what I want.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when you kill a primary hottie like that in the beginning, it's. Well,
I mean, it's Drew Barrymore. Damn it!
You don't mess.
So
You don't.
Samara Weaving's right there with her. In my
you
opinion.
don't mess with my Samara Weaving.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that your? I got you.
Tiff, you just heard him give a rating. Why don't you go next?
I am not gonna go as high as 4. I will give it a 3.75.
Do you have any thoughts on what led you to that?
I did like it. I did like it a lot. I thought it was kind of confusing on like the whole beginning. Like I said, with the boyfriend and the deep fake, just trying to see that kind of led me astray. It was all in typical Scream fashion, which I did appreciate. I also appreciated it being original cast. I just felt like the killers were way too obvious for me. But I didn't hate it. I did like it, and I did like how you said there were a lot of points for other horror movies. Like, when he's in the renovated room, you can see his face, just barely up against it, and how there are other movies that come in that where you can see where they're trying to, you know, I
Pay
lost
homage.
my
Yeah,
word.
Pay
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 respect.
homage.
homage.
Yes, pay homage. Just like I did enjoy the fact that she did name her daughter Tatum as homage to her best friend that was murdered. And I did like that a lot too. And I did like her trying to get on with her life. And I did like the original cast. So, and Matthew Lillard. Just for him, just for Matthew Lillard, coming in there, I should actually give it a solid 4 for that.
Are you changing your rating?
I'll change it because of Matthew Lillard. Yes, 4.
We just talked about this. We literally just talked about. See, that's how easy it can happen. All right. So for me, I'm going to talk about the nostalgia aspect first. The Wes Craven piece. Wes Craven was a known bird watcher, and I didn't know that till I read the trivia on this one.
Oh.
And that's why Sidney's house, the interior, there's lots of bird decorations everywhere, is to pay respects to Wes Craven. So that was a huge, huge thing for me that I was like, that's cool. I like that. It's really minor, really sub, but at the same time, it kind of gives highlight to the OG. So that said, there's that aspect. The Matthew Lillard thing kind of drives me nuts a little bit. I like that it's left open now. I feel like we've got a window to go into, but I do feel like it was a very deceptive marketing tactic that bothered me a lot.
I do see where that would be a thing.
So, but I want a genuine Stu back in Scream at some point here soon. It's got to happen, and I really feel like Melissa Barrera. I forgot I'm saying that, but I would like to see her, and I would like to see Jenna return as well. I think that this would be an awesome culmination, even if Stu went and found Melissa chick, and she's still experiencing these hallucinations of Billy. However, it transpires, I think there's a lot of opportunity for story here down the road. This franchise is not dead. It's not going away. I feel like we're going to get more because they saw the profitability of it. And it's far fucking better than these remakes they keep throwing out, thinking that we're going to just eat them up.
Oh, yes.
So for me, I'm really a big fan of this. The kills, especially the two big, sorry, the opening sequence kill, the bar kill, and the ballerina fairy, whatever you want to call her, she's floating in the theater kill, were spectacularly superb. I wasn't expecting those to be as good as they were. So you've got kills, you've got a kill count that's phenomenal. You've got a bunch of great stuff happening in this movie. I was a little thrown back by the stab aspect because it did kind of approach that, and the reveal sucked. So for me, I'm not as high as these two with this, literally, because they must be high to be giving those higher ratings. But 3.5 nerds is what I'm giving this bad boy.
Oh.
Now, hold on. I will say this too, because JP touched on this too. So I had Scream 1, 6, and 2 were my top 3 in my rankings. This one would take 4th for me. This would bump the other ones.
Okay. Film recommendations. You got any?
I want Tiff to lead this one. What do you got, Tiff?
I really want to watch I really would like for people to watch is The Passenger that I had talked to
You talked to me
JP
about it, yeah.
but I
You talked
cannot
to me as
remember.
well.
Yes, I really, really would love to do a review on that one because I've seen it. I don't know. I don't think either of you have. And it's horror thriller drama-ish. So I can't remember the guy's name that plays in it, but he's in every movie and he's fantastic. Passenger.
Yeah.
We just reviewed a movie with him in it, I think.
Kyle Gallner.
Yeah, wasn't he in Strange Darling?
He was. Yes, he was in Strange Darling. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. and it goes it starts off right off the bat. There's
Yeah.
no waiting in it, like because Ryan had said how, there's just a slow start to some movies where you're just like bored and then finally it happens. No, this one jumps into gear right away. It is kind of a slow burn in the middle though, but there are a lot of weird things happening, and this guy, the character that he plays, is fantastically messed up.
Well, he seems to has fallen into that, especially with Strange Darling and those type of films. So,
And then I'd also like to recommend Locked as well with Bill Skarsgård.
okay.
Is that the one in the car?
Yes.
I have a weird fascination with those type of movies because like Colin Farrell did that phone booth one, and it's kind of like when you're in one area for the entirety, it's interesting.
Or JP's and with us having claustrophobia, we could do the Ryan Reynolds Buried.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
I panicked.
I made him watch The Descent. We did the review on The Descent already, so like, yeah.
I love that movie. I absolutely love that. That's probably one of my favorite horror movies, along with, and I know it's going to sound probably cliche when I say this, but House of a Thousand Corpses is one of my top horror movies.
I know we're running long.
Yeah.
We're running long, so bear with us. But
Oh,
I'm
yes.
going to say this: I have a dream, and that is that Rob
yes?
Zombie pulls his commercial head out of his ass, and he does a fucking movie about Dr. Satan, because Dr. Satan is the most interesting character he's ever had, and we need more about him.
I 100% agree.
My film recommendation for you guys this week. I just went this past Thursday, and since the previous writers directors of Scream 5 and 6 went and did this film, and it came out this past week, Ready or Not 2, starring Samara Weaving. Yes, it is out, and you guys know I've been excited about Ready or Not 2 because I'm such a huge fan of Ready or Not. I've seen a lot of reviews, people saying they actually liked Ready or Not 2 better than the first one. I don't agree with that. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't agree with that. I think it's a solid film. It's a fun film. It's a great film. It's great gore. And if you're a fan of the first Ready or Not, then you're going to love Ready or Not 2. It's more of the same. And so get to the theater. Get to the theater and go see it.
All right. So real quick, do you remember the movie that we saw the trailer after Ready or Not 2 that was about the chick who plays Domino in Deadpool movies? It's like
I love her.
She does it's kind of a similar vibe to Ready or Not. And so I that one's coming out in the next couple of weeks. So go see that too if you like Ready or Not. But my recommendation is actually a recommendation because of Tiff. Tiff and I have been talking highly about the movie Blink Twice. And Blink Twice is not what you think. If you've seen the movie poster for it, it is simply Channing Tatum with a Polaroid camera, and you think maybe he's a photographer. You don't know what's going on. You're assuming a lot. The trailer doesn't give away too much either. So I watched the movie, and without minors involved, there's a Jeffrey Epstein vibe going on, and it's spectacular. I was not expecting to appreciate it as much as I did, and it was great.
I'm so glad that you liked it. I loved it. I was so twisted.
Listen, my wife had said magical things about it already, and then so when you and I had our first conversation and we talked for a while, you mentioned that, and so I was like, all right, I got a couple people have told me great things. I'm going to check this out, and it was well worth it.
Not a lot of movies get me on that twist, and that one, it nailed it home. I'm like, I shouldn't say it like that. Right. Bad taste and poor taste. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Alrighty. Next week we're going to be doing Django Unchained. Ryan's finally watched it, so that's finally happening. So until next week, I'm JP Cross.
I'm Ryan Newhouse.
And I'm Tiffany Heatley.
We'll see you next week.
Be nice on those reviews. Be nice on my reviews, please.